The Legend of the Lost Candy Castle. Once upon a time, King Candy and the Imperial Head Bonbon and Grand Jujube of Candyland disappeared. It was a bright and sunny morning, and to everyone's surprise, the king and his fabulous candy castle simply were no longer where they should be.
A lost king is so distressing!
Says Plumby, the last of the Plum Patrols, as he shoves a juicy gingerbread plum into his mouth. Plumby is the caretaker of the gingerbread plum trees, and his job is to gather up all of the ripe plums that fall from the trees. Ever since the king's disappearance, Plumby does more eating than gathering, growing more plump and more glum with every bite of a plum.
Mr. Mint, the peppermint lumberjack and keeper of the royal peppermint forest, also thinks the situation is somewhat sticky. Mr. Mint cuts down the big red and white peppermint trees into bite-sized whistles and flutes, creating the sweetest sounding musical instruments ever. My peppermint piccolos have been rather off-key ever since the key left, says Mr. Mint. I certainly hope he returns soon. And what of the Gumdrop Mountains? Moans Jolly, the official Gumdrop Mountain greeter. They just don't glisten and glow the way they used to. Indeed, the pastel-colored sugar-crested range does grow paler and paler every day the king's away.
Oh, do cheer up, says the ever-hopeful Grandma Nut, who lives in the peanut brittle house. Grandma believes that a very special little girl and boy can find the missing king in his castle right at the end of the Candyland path. If they look hard enough. But whoever can these very special children be, she asks. I know just the two to find my father, the missing king, says Princess Lolly of the Lollipop Woods. In a voice as light and airy as the fluffiest marshmallows, she says, They are the Candyland kids. Courageous, clever, and ever so determined.
They'll never find the king or his castle,
Lord Licorice says sourly,
for I have hidden them from sight, so all of Candyland will be mine.
His heart is as hard as rock candy, always gloomy, ever grim. Lord Licorice lives very much alone, except for a few bitter chocolate bats to keep him company.
Utter nonsense, Queen Frostine says of the Lord Licorice's evil plan. Peacefully drift on an ice cream float in an ice cream sea. Warm-hearted Frostine thinks the Candyland kids will surely find the king. And no matter how many times Lord Licorice plots and plans, she adds, Candyland will sparkle once again.
When the kids pass by Molasses Swamp, the king and his castle will soon be found.
Mrs. Gloppy, the kindly molasses monster, who's definitely more gruesome than gruesome.
All of Candyland is ready to help the Candyland kids find the king. Even the gingerbread men from the Cookie Patrol have offered to act as guides along the path. You can help too, by moving the gingerbread men cautiously and cleverly along the path, all the way to its end. If you do, you'll find the king, and his lost castle, and everyone in Candyland will live happily ever after. Caught it.
33.